Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. I'm Natalie, and of course, Oji is still here. Now, proudly sponsored by Cutix, Onye Afia returns for its second season, and headlining the show is no other person than Africa enthusiast Odera Collins, the host with the most. I'm bringing all new flavor to your screens. Of course, she's going to be doing that. Keeping her on her toes is the ever-creative producer, Vera Chidimma. Good morning. And welcome to the program.
Good morning, guys.
Onye Afia returns.
Yes.
The way I picture it is so dramatic. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
So permit us to start with your producer, because that's the one that has been going back and forth, back end. So Vera, Onye Afia, some people watch it, they see the promo, they see it happen, but some people want to really understand what Onye Afia signifies. What does it mean? What is this program?
In a nutshell, or in one word, I would say it's a masterclass. It's a business masterclass, because we brought in the best of the best, the captains of industries, the founders, the CEO, the people that have done business over a couple of years. And, amongst our guests, we have someone who have led a business for over 40 years. So these people are coming in to share their experience, how they do business. And if you're interested in that line of business, you can learn from them. Do not make mistakes they've made. And in fact, the sky is a starting point. So Onye Afia, in a nutshell, is a masterclass, a business masterclass for anybody looking to start business right in the East or elsewhere, because their principles are basically universal. And another thing, it's eye-opening, right? Because a lot of people look at Igbo businesses as very crude. They think that, okay, as businesses or as businessmen, we do it with the ancient ways, we are not tech savvy and all of those things. Those stereotypes were torn down. In fact, they were shredded, they were dispelled, and they brought in real life examples how we are doing business, how we're excelling, innovative ways we are doing things, and it's just
putting a total end to wagging tongues as a whole.
I mean,
tongues no longer wag about those stereotypes.
Tongues shall no longer wag. No.
Okay, coming back to you, Odera. You are presenting Onye Afia. Tell us why you feel that you fit this role, who you really represent, and how this program makes you feel anchoring it.
First of all, I'm very enthusiastic. Like you said, I'm very enthusiastic about indigenous stories. Right? And that is because I grew up, in a family where we upheld our tribe, our tradition. Like, once you're home, you don't communicate in English, you switch to Igbo. And, for me, it's been a strong part of my identity. Becoming who I am today has always been influenced by, when people say, oh, I like how you are, and, what you're doing. I'm like, you don't know the women who raised me. Everything I am today is from the women and the men who raised me. So I think indigenous stories are very important if we're going to preserve culture, and if we're also going to have individuals who can uphold values in society. Now, when we say values, people tend to think you're just talking about a moral compass. No, we're talking about culture, we're talking about identity, we're talking about growth. We're talking about having a generation of people that aren't lost.
So talking about everything that that made you who you are, right? So how did you infuse all that you've learned over the years into this show? Making this show you.
I did not make the show me. I made the show what it needed to be for the stories that needed to be told. But one thing I would say that worked, and why I really, because at first I didn't think that I was going to do Onye Afia, and that's because, when people see you as, how do they say it in colloquial, slangs, in a sopele, right? Yeah. So people tend to think that I never saw myself, because even my time on radio, I never did, local content. I was always pushed to entertainment, lifestyle, news, English. So I never thought Onye Afia would be something I would do. But from the first day, it was just this is very important. So it was something I realized once. I was enthusiastic about doing it, but then there was a second layer of realization when I came on set. Now, talking about how I brought me into it. How I brought me into it is the cultural orientation I have as an Igbo woman, right? I think it is very important that we have strong ties to who we are. Our indigenous tribe, be you Yoruba, Igbo, outside, wherever it is you are from. I think it's very important that you are tied back to where you're from. And that helped me understand connotations, how to talk to the guests, how to handle the guests at different age groups. It was just an all-round interesting experience.
For some reason, you remind me of Chimamanda Adichie. I don't know. And it's not because of the Things Fall Apart festival. This is genuine. It's not just about the dressing, it's how you speak, it's the finesse. I don't know. Perfect for the
Very
role.
much. I'm so honored.
Let me come back to you now, Vera. Season 1 has happened. You produced it as well. Season 2 is now here. Let me not try to be too large. What is the difference between season 1 and season 2? What were the challenges with season 1 that have now been corrected in season 2? And secondly, why did you pick Odera Collins for this role?
Okay. So I'll start by correcting one misinformation. Season 1, I didn't produce season
All
1.
right.
Yeah, but for season 2,
Who produced season 1 then?
Eric.
Eric.
Gugwa. Yeah.
Where is Eric? Where is Eric?
Eric
Gugwa?
is in Lagos right now,
Lagos.
giving us different recipes,
That's
dishes, or
lucky
whatever
taking
on
his brother.
Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's in Lagos now, but I was part of season 1 actually as a guest.
Great.
But for season 2, I produced it. And why Odera? The challenge, okay, before I get to why Odera, for the challenges of producing season 2, first of all, I didn't think I was going to produce the show. I mean, ideally, I'm the brand manager for Afia, so I wasn't thinking production, right? So when I got that call,
You had removed your hand from church money.
Yeah, I had exactly. I had removed my hand from church money, and for some reason, the parish priest kept calling, saying you have to dip your hand back in. I said, why? We had a little back and forth as to why you should produce this show. With a little touch of blackmail. I mean, I hope the chief executive producer is seeing this.
Yes, I'm sure.
So
With Ikenga.
with Ikenga, of course. There was a little Ikenga to that. So we got into it, we understood the concept and the importance of the story. But for me, what even spurred me to taking up the role was the ideology, because even before being a brand manager, a business development manager, I've always been interested in grassroots stories, our cultural representation. I've always been interested in making sure that our stories are told in the right way. I wasn't comfortable with people telling our stories saying, oh, Igbo people are this and this, So when you talk about the Igbo businessman, I want you to know for real how they run their businesses. I don't want it to be based on what you think or what you feel or what someone had told you before. So I said, you know what, let me do this. Let's get the businesses. Let's get them together to tell the stories. I said, you know what, let's get on to produce the show. And then why Odera? Who else would have done a better job than me? Look at her.
Can you see her shoulders going up gradually?
Well,
Gradually.
Yeah.
they are, right? So it was a smooth one because we got into this relationship of talent manager relationship. I mean, I call her my talent, and we were able to move through that. And I would applaud her. She carried the show very well because most of our guests at some point they were a lot. Because it felt like they've been looking for an opportunity to talk about the things they spoke about, and it's a 30-minute show. So it just felt like it was not enough for them to spill all of that. But what Odera did, which is brilliant, was to be able to manage time to get the best out of them. But interestingly, there are episodes that spilled over 30 minutes. We had to cut them into 2 parts. So viewers, if you're paying attention, you know that there are episodes that are part 1 and part 2.
Showtimes.
And those were done deliberately to make sure that you get all of the important nuggets you have to get out of these people, because this is a free masterclass.
I agree
Like I said,
to that now. Just showtime exactly.
Okay, the showtime is 11:30 a.m. every weekday, Mondays to Friday on Afia TV. It's premiering on Monday, July 7th.
At
So,
11:30.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that day. It feels like the day I give birth.
And we not say PM, right? 11:30 a.m.
A.m. every
so
morning.
It's not an
Every
alarm. We want
morning.
to sleep.
Yeah. No.
Sleep
You can
through.
sleep very well. 11:30 a.m. on Afia TV. You'll be there. And new episodes premiere every Monday.
Great.
So for each week, we are going to, if you missed today, don't worry. We're going to come back on Tuesday. You watch it, catch everything. If you need to jot down things, if you need to cram screen, whatever it is you need to do, because I don't want people to miss out on the important lessons and the stories we told with this show. So, yeah.
Okay, let's come to the business part of this, right? Because as a brand and development manager for Afia TV, and also as the CEO, I'll describe this as a strategic alignment with Cutix, right? So, talk to us about the sponsorship and the partnership, by the way, we have with this company, and how more is being opened out for.
Okay. So, first of all, a big shout out to Cutix PLC for their support. I mean, according to the CEO, this is like the first of its kind for this brand, and first from an indigenous brand. And it meant a lot to me, because I've written to a couple of people, to come in, put money behind the show and all that. A lot of people are still like, oh, okay. But, they saw it and they saw the vision and they jumped on it. So it wasn't even a lot of hard work from my side to put it. I mean, the only hard work I did was to,
So who will help you not go stress you?
Of course. Who would help you would not stress you, because the only hard work I'll say I did when my power was, structuring a well-detailed proposal to them. But they saw the vision. I mean, Cutix is a brand that has been in existence for what? Over 40 years. So you would see that they've seen it all. They've done it. They've seen it. They've
What's
tested
Cutix
and
into?
Cutix is into cables.
Okay, so
Any type of cable.
they're interested in programs like this that talk about business.
They're talking about businesses.
Right.
And they're based in Nnewi, where a lot of people would wonder, why would you place such a multi-million naira business in Nnewi, southeast of Nigeria? Ideally, people would want Cutix to be based elsewhere. So they share similar values with Afia and then what the show represents. So, Cutix is sponsoring the show for this season. And, like we've promised them, it's a great union. And we are looking forward that they get as much value they get from it. So from anybody watching, I'm hoping that, when you see Cutix on your screen, you think cable.
Yes.
When you talk about Cutix, when you talk about anything coming to cable, from home cables to whatever, they do a whole wide of things. So just look at Cutix. But like I said, it's very important that you came on board with this, and it aligns with what they stand for, businesses, empowering the region, and a whole lot of things.
Great.
So I'm not surprised they came on the show.
Okay, we're already out of time, but I have to ask Odera this question. What kind of guests are we expecting to see?
What kind of guest? Textbook version, captains of industry. But in my own words, I would say expect to meet people that you probably did not know existed in this region. And why do I say that? When people approach us, they approach us in a straitjacket manner, like, oh, it's just rash business people, right? I mean, I was having an argument with someone about how we represent who we are as Igbo, right? We used to be very diverse. We used to be very educated. We had the cream of the crop. You find it in this region. And we just sort of stopped representing that. And Onye Afia is revitalizing that, and that's what you're going to be seeing. So you're going to be seeing experienced people from different walks of life. We covered from events to technology to talent retention in southeastern Nigeria. We talked religion, spirituality. We spoke about a ton of things. So yes, like she said, it's a masterclass, and I can't wait for you to watch it.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. And what shall we say now? The show has come to an end, but we hope that tongues begin to wag about Onye Afia. We want to see tongues wagging in Enugu and across the southeast, across Nigeria. Everybody should be talking about Onye Afia at this point. 11:30 a.m. on Monday, Onye Afia Season 2 premieres. Odera Collins is going to be bringing you all the vibes that you need. And Vera is going to be there, just giving herself that pat on the back. It went very well. It's not easy producing. Trust me. It's not. It's not.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Up next is the Business Morning with Afia TV political economic correspondent Nnamdi Ovanya at 10 a.m. I'll remain your host till next week, Nathalie Uko.
Call me OG. Have a splendid Friday and a weekend ahead. Bye for now.